Okay.
Yeah, actually that's six.
Yes.
Dear distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, thanks very much for inviting me to this good presentation. It's my honor to attend this conference, and it's my first time to be in Mexico at Querétaro. I don't think it's my last time to be here. It's really nice country, nice city, and nice people over here. And the friendship between China and Mexico has a really long history. It can be traced back to 1899, where our friendship country reached a friendship agreement between China and Mexico. At that time, China was a cheap Mexico. However, in the first half of the 20th century, we had really problems for ourselves, for the revolutionary movement in China. The agreement was interrupted. However, it was recovered in 1972, and China and Mexico resumed a new frontier and established diplomatic relations. Although our two countries has taken place in the revolutionary movement, however, our friendship has been never stopped during the last 100 years. In 2003, China has become the second largest trading partner in Mexico. And in 2009, the trading volumes of China and Mexico exceeded the European Union. And in 2010, China accounted for 8% of Mexico's foreign trade volumes and 15% of our total export volume. The theme of my presentation is on economic special zones. With that, please allow me to introduce the basic part. We have four basic parts in my presentation. That is the Belt and Road, economic free zones, logistics professional program in China, and new technology applications. So first one is the Belt and Road. In September 2013, our President Mr. Xi Jinping pronounced an economic Silk Road belt in October. A 21st century maritime Silk Road, together now referred as the Belt and Road Initiative. The initiative attracted countries' attention from the international communities and won a positive response from the countries involved. It integrates the historical symbol of that ancient Silk Road with new requirement of the day. China is willing to strengthen the maritime cooperation, making good use of to develop maritime partnership with the 21st century maritime Silk Road. With the help of APEC in Beijing in November 2013, the blueprint and implementation conditions of Belt Road become nature. The Belt Road is a Chinese program with goals to maritime and new open water economic system and achieve our definitions, independence, balance, and sustainable development. And the Chinese program intends to advance the regional cooperation. So actually, for ourselves, we have an initiative for 5 parts. The first one is the open water economic system, to maintain an open water economic system. The second initiative is water development. Water development means that achieve the diversified independence balance and sustainable development. The third one for our initiative is about cooperation. The Chinese proposal intends to act a balanced regional cooperation and international cooperation. And the fourth one is strengthen communications, which means that strengthen the communication between the civilizations. And the fifth one, last but not least, is the water sustainability. The water sustainability means the safeguard world peace and sustainability. And in 2017, the Belt and Road Initiative was drawn widely attention and gained positive response from the international communities. From May 2017, 14th to 15th, the Belt and Road Forum of our international cooperation was held in Beijing. The Belt and Road Initiative responds to the calls of all the times for the world peace and development and meets the needs of the countries for faster development. The 29th heads of states, governments, and 3 leaders of major international organizations, including the Secretary General of the United Nations, attended Leaders' Roundtable and other activities. Around 1,500 guests from 130 countries attend this forum, including Mexico officers. This period of history gave us something we should carry forward. For example, the open, inclusive spirit of Silk Road for peace. But actually, periods of history give us something we should really carry forward. The ancient Belt Road, named Silk Road, started in 2nd century BC, with origin point from Xi'an and Luoyang, where Xinjiang and reached Central Asia and West Asia, and finally links various Mediterranean cities such as Rome and Venice. So actually, at that time, was in Xi'an and Luoyang connected to the Central Europe and to the Mediterranean side. And countries and regions besides Silk Road in charge of a lot of commodities, and including silk, furs, jade, jewelries, and forum. It was promoted the friendly contact between China and alongside countries. The history of Silk Road lasted until 15th century, has an impressive connection between China and Mexico. Since 1565, it has been replaced by the Boat of China, or named Manila Galleon. The trade deals continue until its beginning of 19th century. And each year, 1 or 2 Spanish galleons carried goods between Latin America and Far East. The largest ships sailed out from Apolo to Manila, where they obtained spices, textiles, porcelains, carpet, ivory, China and Japan handcrafts, and so on. All kinds of products of superb collections of beautiful things. They use Mexico silver, the silver extension material from Peru. Although products from Asia should have been introduced into Spain, many were eventually left in Mexico and traded in South America through the main colonial port, Callao. This year, coincidentally, the 45th anniversary of the diplomacy relations between China and Mexico. In the past 45 years, China and Mexico have developed rapidly in various fields, which is a mutual understanding of progress. Also, it's linked and is between our two countries in centuries of history. In 2013, President Xi Jinping has talked in Mexico City with President Enrique Peña Nieto. They jointly announced that we enhance the strategic alliance to the comprehensive strategic partnership between China and Mexico. Mexico has become an important trade partner of China in Latin America. China is the world's second largest economy with a huge trade volumes. Chinese investment in Mexico is growing, while Mexico investment in different sectors in China also growing. Although our two countries are far apart, the geographical map cannot prevent us from continuing to promote a major exchange and cooperation. I believe that Mexico, with its unique advantage, will be able to make important contribution in the Belt and Road. Moreover, Mexico is building her international logistics platform and needs to the new open business opportunities, as all the guests already explained in the morning. That actually Mexico is building the ports, highways, railway station, airports, and considering improving infrastructure. We believe Mexico not only learn from the Belt and Road initiative, but also can help other countries benefit from it. Secondly, the economic free-point zones and application. Well, in 1990s and 1980s, there were few economic free zones were introduced right after the revolution, such as Shenzhen, Zhuhai, Shantou, Xiamen, Shanghai, etc. Mr. Deng Xiaoping created 4 economic zones next to Hong Kong. The most important part was Shenzhen. Shenzhen is nearby the city of Hong Kong. Back then, it was little more than a village. The city was just 30,000 people living there now. However, right now, it's a city of 12 million people living in Shenzhen, bigger than Hong Kong with 7 million. After 2000 year, China decided to open new economic zones all over the country. Especially after 2010, new economic zones helped to make the economy recover from financial crisis. Until now,
central government approved to establish 14 bounded areas, in which warehouses, logistics parks accounts for 83% of total export and import volume. There are more than 1,200 free trade zones all over the world. In the east coast of China, economy highly depends on the trade and exporting processing. In which areas central government approved 4 bounded free trade zones in Shanghai, Guangdong, Fujian, and Tianjin, followed by Shanghai. Fully supported from the central government, the free trade zones follows a Belt and Road footprint with policies in financial openness, taxation reduction, investment, and industry transaction. Shanghai Free Port Zone, on the one hand, as the first free trade zone in China, was approved in 29th of September 2013. The free trade zone including Shanghai Waigaoqiao Free Port Zone, Waigaoqiao Bounded Logistics Park, Yangshan Bounded Port Zone, and Pudong Airport Comprehensive Bounded Zone, total area of 28.78 square kilometers. After Shanghai approved her succeed, Guangdong, Fujian, Tianjin were approved in 2014. Chinese free economic zones give a good example. After 35 years of development of Shenzhen becomes the third largest city in China, right after Beijing and Shanghai. The technology companies' headquarters or regional headquarters are settled in Shenzhen, such as Tencent, Baidu, etc. However, in 2017, April 11th, the concept of economic free zones was upgraded to her second version. The second version is called the Beijing economy. Chinese Prime Minister Mr. Li Keqiang said in his report that we should believe the integration of Hong Kong, Macau, and the Canton Bay Area is more with the economic laws and trends. And we believe in the power of the market from the consideration of economic density and population structure and regional economic comprehensive. Hong Kong, Macau, and the Guangdong Bay Area is expected to become a world-class Bay Area. The Guangdong, Hong Kong, and Macau Bay Area includes a Pearl River Delta city, such as Guangdong, Shenzhen, Special Administrative Region, Hong Kong, and Macau, which follows New York Bay, San Francisco Bay, and Tokyo Bay. Guangdong, Hong Kong, Macau Bay economic area has a wide range of economic belts. The total GDP accounts for $1,400 billion and $1,800 billion foreign trade volumes. And by the way, actually for that area, we got 120 million people live in that area, which means that 1/10 of our Chinese population live in that place. Our strategy to build a new economic base zones are financial innovation, professional service industry, technology innovation, and focus on international trade functions. Thirdly, I should introduce the professional logistics certifications program in China. No matter how to improve our economy, labor, especially logistics professionals, is a key issue to the labor market. China's economic growth has been accomplished by the ever-increasing demand for logistics services. However, Chinese logistics capabilities remain at an early stage of development, with many unresolved challenges. That said, foreign and local players continue to expand into the logistics market, and the government is pushing to improve logistics capability and efficiency. Insufficient supply of logistics manpower has been a major concern in China, even though the number of graduates in logistics and transport studies has been increasing in recent years. Labor shortages also lead to higher turnover rates in comprehensive labor market. Besides, many local participants lack understanding of modern management and skills business in China, and though that all the kind of local logistics services providers with local experiences. However, Chinese logistics professionals can now communicate with potential clients in foreign languages, like say English. Then again, some staff are well educated but lack the relevant experiences and soft logistics skills. Without doubt, the logistics industry in China is very important and with growth. However, it still faces many challenges. Numerous small logistics services providers offers similar but limited services without nationwide coverage. While supply of logistics facilities in some districts of either insufficient or reductant. Also, constraints of the logistics facilities and human capital, as well as expensive logistic costs, further added bondage to logistics users and operations. To solve the problem of leakage in logistics professionals, China launched training courses in 2003 for certificate national trade logistics specialists. In accordance with the national qualification standard for logistics specialists, our Ministry of Labor and Social Security, logistics professionals were divided in 3 categories, which namely the logistics assistant, logistics specialist, and advanced logistics specialist. More than 100 universities, colleges, and social organization support system works well. We built up the mechanism among these universities, social organizations, and companies that bachelor or master logistics professionals have more than 5 years logistics working experiences and exam exemptions to have the assistant level. However, to get to the specialist level or advanced special level, they have to really work hard on that. After taking 100 study hours program, they could make an exam in the universities to get specialized certificate. For the people in management level, they need to prove of research capability and economic contribution by the logistics pioneers to get advanced logistics specialist certificate, which means this highest level logistics certificate asks people really have the logistics know-how. In that certificate, the people really have to prove they have 5 million RMB project announced during that program. However, the international recognized certificate is not popular in China, such as CILT. The reasons are top management team members of state-wide companies are not that international yet to recognize the international certificate, which means that this kind of certificate is not really applicable in Chinese companies. Secondly, those certificates focus on the supply chain process, but in China, we are focused on lower total costs and manage the tracking cost lot, and moreover, this international certificate uses Western rules, and for Chinese companies, we focus on Chinese rules in our country. Therefore, my suggestion for maximum institutions is that there is no single system can solve all the problems. Please do not copy the other countries' way, but find actually the best and most suitable ways for building up the system for training your own professionals in Latin America, especially in Mexico. As my university, Beijing Institute of Technology, is one of the major universities supporting the system. We are focused on the supply chain and logistics certificating programs. Our university in Zhuhai campus started a logistics program in 2010. This program majorly focuses on supporting the offshore and cargo executions professionals. Few universities, such as the Dalian Maritime University, Shanghai Maritime University, etc., they are working on onshore professionals. The leaders from international companies, shipping companies, of really coastal shipping, for example, are graduated from these universities. They have a lot of networks in the whole country nationally. Those universities have good relationship with logistic companies, where companies will do a university-based commissions training program for logistics know-how. For example, port management at Shanghai Maritime University, Guangzhou Port Groups, Shanghai Port Groups, Shenzhen Yantian Port, etc., which is the biggest port groups in China, really has the contract commissions program with Shanghai Maritime University. For example, Guangzhou Port Groups works this program for 3 continuous years with Shanghai Maritime Universities for specialized the potential management members in this company. The port group after 3-year training is focused on attendees and promoted to the management level. Some really focus on the top management level already. On the other hand, universities provide logistics programs in bachelor, master, and PhD level in Great China. Let's say we can put it into 2 parts. One is in mainland China, and the other one is in Hong Kong and Taiwan. In mainland China, students can really participate in logistics and supply chain programs on physical transportation, supply chain management, etc. In master and PhD level, participants first have to finish their program and also get to participate for examinations before they get inside the program. The examinations can be really specific and also can be not so specific. The specific programs is, let's say, mathematics, let's say supply chain management, operations management, etc. Even in PhD level, entry requirement to finish an examinations before they have the paper, and also they have to work on the programs before they can get inside of the university. In Taiwan, Hong Kong, and Macau, students are required to make at least 3 papers and publish in higher level magazines. For example, in Macau Technology University, they have to finish at 4 papers before they can graduate from this university. Those graduate students are most favorite freshers in international companies. For example, like in Guangzhou Port Group or Shanghai Port Group, this kind of students are very popular there. About 70 to 80% of these onshore or offshore student graduations going to these 2 universities. We already have some discussions in the morning time, which means that intelligent logistics is changing the whole logistics industry, from low end to one of the biggest areas of other applications. It becomes a vision industry. However, during like 10 years ago, the economy was not that high at that time. The technology of the applications in logistics was not that much. The new technology played a very good examples, and also for significant for promoting information sharing and transport between services provider and consignees. So which means that integrated logistics and optimizations between all the kind of members, stakeholders, and allocation in logistics operations, improving the logistic capability and service level. Therefore, we have to really connect it anytime, and also no differences between work and home, which means that a lot of people, especially professional people, they always work at home or during the business trip. Also, we saw some cases in China and also in European and US, they use VR technologies to apply for the new things. Finally, the safety and security is getting so important right now in China and all over the world. However, about 10 years ago, you cannot imagine that the people calling for all the security and monitoring this kind of things by telephone or online. The things come right now is getting so popular that people connect at any time. So people can really use Internet of Things for the monitoring of the whole system. Intelligent logistics cannot miss the Internet connections. Internet of Things, short for IoT, is getting so important for the logistic ecosystem in China. Industry professionals try to make everything connected together by local area network, such as RFID, was a good example. However, lower the speed of the wireless application in cargo, truck, containers, pallet are widely used of narrow-band Internet of Things. So right now, all the kind of companies, especially operators in China, they are working on the IoT things. The Internet of Things is contributing in automotive automations. For example, like in the cars, you can put the GPS in a car and really monitoring by CCTV on the car. And it's really cost reduction. For example, you can use all the kind of technologies to reduce your costs, especially the cost during the warehousing and processing. Thirdly, the security for 24/7. A lot of work, especially the port business, that work for 24/7 during the whole day. And before 10 years ago, I say a few years ago, they cannot do that because the manpower cannot do the 24/7 things. However, they can do by monitoring by the system. Fourthly, the supply chain optimization is becoming very popular right now. Let's take examples of the Port of Rotterdam. They already use optimization operations during, let's say, 10, 15 years ago. However, there was a new things in China, in Qingdao Port of Group. They use optimizations of the port things. And also they have connections for optimizations in the port and also during the supply chain management. Also, the new definitions of working and communications is new things. About 5 years ago, people can really use the telephone only for talk. But what about the telephone right now? They can use for applications. App is very popular right now because thanks to the ICT things. Also, workplace is not only for the people that work in the places like say the office, but also they can work at home or any places in the world. Also, for the high efficiency and sustainability, it's very popular for the logistic part. Actually, for about 5 to 10 years ago, it's not necessary to talk about the sustainability and safety during the whole supply chain management. Because in some special part, like say warehousing point, a lot of people cannot really do that monitoring. There's a lot of loss and cost on that point. However, to doing this IoT things, the high efficiency and sustainability is getting so important and can be do that. I, as a researcher, understand worldwide needs for manufacturing, warehousing, transportation, and 3PL companies are using this kind of IoT things. The common needs for the cargo monitoring focus on supply chain control, intelligent distribution, visual management, tracking, and has to be practical using. The practical using can be very hard right now for these applications. However, in China, we use some kind of new things for some companies. In this presentation, I explained for 3 good examples in China right now already explained. So first one is DHL, the company is from Germany. Second one is COSCO Shipping from China. And third one is China Merchandise. So first one is DHL. DHL is a very big company actually. They work for 24/7 during the last 10 years or 20 years in China. They have a really good example for controlling the costs, controlling the supply chain management, and also monitoring in special parts. However, the efficiency for DHL is very, very bad during the last 10 years. Why is that? Because they cannot really control for the truckers and control the operators in special points like the warehousing. But right now, with the Internet of Things and also other technology things, they can do this kind of things for these computers. Let's say a good example of applications for DHL in China is in Shanghai port areas. They use the gate in and out system for monitoring all the kind of trucks and cargoes in and out. Also, they have directions for the cargoes through and outside in and out of the gate, like this. Inside the parking places, they have a monitoring system to call of all the cargoes out of the trucks go to the right dock, which means that they can use the control of the docks by RFID, Internet of Things, or other important technology things to control all the kind of locks and cargoes go to the right places. You can imagine that every day that DHL operate a lot of things, and there's a high possibility that they can make troubles and mistakes. The troubles and mistakes is killing this kind of area, especially for supply chain and logistics. However, with this kind of monitoring, they secure 99% of the cargoes going to the right places. There's only the one part of the warehousing. However, for the whole supply chain, we have to really monitoring for all things. So COSCO Shipping is one of good examples for that. Actually, the COSCO Shipping was a new joint venture company in 2016. At that time, COSCO and China Shipping was 2 separate companies. They cannot use all the kind of resources, especially the technology resources, to monitor all the kind of cargoes and boxes during the supply chain programming. For that, actually, right now, they can use a lot of things for monitoring the whole system. For example, the GPS, open, and also the lockers to monitoring things. Imagine that there's one cargo from Shanghai port to US LA. This was a monitoring system in the port areas. However, in the outside the port areas, it's getting so hard for monitoring, especially the very high value product. Consignees and shippers are very afraid of that kind of things. With that platform, we can really monitoring all the kind of things by the lockers. We built out the platform for China Shipping, for COSCO Shipping. They can work on the whole system monitoring from the port of door-to-door system. Secondly, actually, international shipping depends really on the cargoes of the containers. However, beside the containers of boxes, we use a lot of pallets. Pallets helps a lot to control all the processing, especially the standardizations. However, the standardization of the pallets is getting so hard for monitoring. I take a good example of Langsam. Langsam was an Australian company. That company was occupied and acquisitioned by the China Merchandise a few years ago. Actually, this company was very big in this world. They have a lot of pallets around the world. In China itself, we get 7.5 million pallets around the country. However, you can imagine that 30 to 40% of the pallets were missing every day. Where it goes? It goes to consignee, it goes to shippers, it goes to everywhere. Nobody can really control that. It breaks down the contributors and sustainability and steady of the whole supply chain. In that time, we had really headache on the program. So we find a new technology monitoring our whole system. We pick up 5% of the system to monitor that. To do that, we put a system inside the pallet, in here. And the machine can really put stick in the woods of the pallet. And 5% of 7.5 million pallets is really a big number. If they can manage and also control the supply chain by that 5% of the things, it's getting very good and very steady and sustainability of the whole system. With that, actually, we have really good for the accessing of the management. And also, we can use for the big data by these two systems. 1 year ago, we have big examples for these two companies. The big data platform tells us that where it comes from and where it goes. Especially some ports of the world, especially the port in China and Asia, that get very headache of the hinterland. We got a lot of ports in our Pearl River Delta. In Pearl River Delta itself, we got 4 big ports. However, we got very big problems on that because hinterland was just there. And every port of that can really headache of getting these cargoes from the hinterland to their own port. And how we can do that? We put the GPS and also the monitoring things inside of this program, pallet, and also on the box. All the platform can tell us where it's come from, but specialize the hinterland of which of the cities and which of the area and which of the districts. For these numbers, I can understand which kind of cargoes and consignees can use this type of number. However, we found really big problems for the professionals. Because actually right now in China, and also for other countries, we lack of these kind of people, especially understand the business, can speak English, and also can use this kind of technology things. So actually, during a couple of years, we already talked with this kind of program with universities and also with the companies. Guangzhou Port Group, China Merchandise, and also other companies already use this kind of technology, and also they are communicate with the commissions of the programs with universities. For example, in my university in Zhuhai campus, we are planning the commissions program, training program with this kind of companies. In 2016 and 2015, we trained about 10 people, 10 students, and also something like 15 of the management members from this kind of companies going to the university training program and learn them to understand the basic know-how, technology know-how, and also the language know-how. With that know-how, people can really apply this kind of system. It has proofs of this system workable. So next 5 years, we call it another 5 to 10 years, Mr. Xi gave us a lot of introduction, and Mr. Li gave us a lot of good examples in the Bay of Economic in Hong Kong, Macau, and Guangdong province. With that, we can applicable for new technology and new people's, especially technology applications. So, with that, actually, there's too many things I want to explain to you. However, the time is really short. I want to share with you the distinction with gas with all this kind of information. But actually, the world is big. Mexico and China is really big countries. We have really long history connections. And China is very new in the Latin American. And we hope that we can understand each other in the next 5 to 10 years. However, I hope you enjoy my presentation, although it's short and informative. And also, I hope my great honor to attend this conference and wish all the best to IMT, CAPEL, United Nations, and all the distinguished guests. Thank you very much.